Hello everyone and welcome back to La Vida Fútbol. My name is Luis Laureano. I am a UEFA B licensed coach from California, currently living and coaching in Germany. So today we're going to talk about attacking with the false nine. Let's take a look at our tactic board here. So our false nine is essentially a striker that is unconventional, so to speak, because this is not a typical striker that stays at the point in line with the defenders. This is a striker that comes down either between the lines of defense or even behind both lines of defense. Okay, so this player seems to be a player that is free, but essentially starts off high, comes down to try to recover the ball, or essentially to create space, gaps, or passing lanes. So with this marker, I'm going to show you here the two types of lines that we're going to be using. The first one is a dotted line, and this will be representing a run. And this line, the solid line, will be representing a pass. Okay? So now that we have that information, let's take a look at some ways that we, as coaches or as players who play in that position, can exploit the false nine and take advantage of what that position can create, not only for this particular player, but for the other players as well. Okay, so let's begin here. Now, general movements that this false nine can take are runs to the back, runs angled to the sides, and essentially a run back. Okay, so those are your typical movements and locations that you would go as a player playing that position, just because these movements will essentially create space for other players. Okay? So now, if we are in that type of situation where we're using our false nine and wanting to attack in this formation, so here, as you can see, we have a 3-4-3, which essentially derives from a 4-3-3. But you use your left and right backs to essentially push up and help, so that you create essentially a 5-player center midfield with a false nine, or just a 4 versus 4 with the defenders. Okay, so now then that would just mean that your defensive midfielders just comes back and plays in between the two center backs. Okay. Okay, so now this would give us the situation where we have two lines of defense. So we're playing in this case against a 4-4-2, and we are attacking now with 7 players. So now we are, of course, in a numerical disadvantage, but we want to use that to our advantage. And the way we do that with this false nine is when this player moves, this will essentially create trouble for these 4 players if these 4 players are not communicating well. Okay? So now, let's say we have this position here. So now, if you go here and your number 8 has the ball, first we're going to try to make a play for this player. Okay? So now, in this first situation, our false nine comes in deep, making that these 2 players come up. So what we want is for these players essentially to move in these directions so that they get out of place, so that we can create space either behind that line or just on the outsides. And in this case, we're going to try to get around them. Okay, so now if a right midfielder or their right midfielder is very tight with the number 6, then we can pass initially first to the outside. This will cause that player to push to the outside. Then our false 9 will come in deep so that this player doesn't cover that lane, which would essentially also be a mistake, because if the pass is back really quick, then you can essentially exploit your space here because of a mistake or a commitment from the number 6 that essentially shouldn't have happened. But if you want to create this, let's say this passing lane here, then we would have our false 9 come in deep so that these two players have to decide who's going to defend, who's going to stay with, who's going to stay back, who's going to push. But if we pass to the outside, then this player will open up to defend. But if we're quick, then this player would essentially move a little bit, and then in that time, create this passing lane. Okay, so now we have the possibility of either going directly to this attacker. But of course, if the ball's on this side, the defenders are going to be shifting a little bit and then still trying to figure out whether they should stay with this player or not stay with that player, because you also do have your right winger here, your number 7, just ready to also receive a ball. So now you have 4 defenders here, and essentially all for one player. So then this is the type of situation that I'm telling you that we need to take advantage of that. Even though we have a numerical disadvantage, we can make them overcommit, take advantage of that position, and then essentially attack from there. Okay, so now if the defender here doesn't commit, then you can get the ball directly to your number 11, your winger there, and then take advantage of that. And of course you have overlap situation, or you have a quick one-on-one, or quick one-on-one and then to the inside, right? You go to the inside if this defender didn't shift quick enough, or if they stay back because the false 9 came in as an option and allowed this little gap to be available. So that would also be a possibility. Now, if let's say we don't have that space to essentially give the first or the initial pass, so I'm talking about this pass right here that I now erased. So we're going to say that we had that pass happen so that we created this gap here. We can also step up, or not step up, but our attacker here, our winger, number 11, can also make a move, something like this. And then maybe to the outside, and then boom, there. Okay, so now what does that do? So if our player starts in front of the defender, comes to the outside, opens up, then if this defender follows, boom, boom. Now we have, of course, we use our false 9 as a decoy again to try to have our center backs kind of commit. But now we have the possibility of attacking, boom, directly with a ball in between the right center back and the right defender. And it could be a through pass if there's enough space, you know, a hard ball on the floor, on the ground, I mean, or a pass over the head where our number 11 would have to just essentially control the ball and then take it to the inside, either for a shot or a pass to the number 7 who is running in, or also a pass diagonal back to the false 9 for a shot there. So that would be one thing there that we can do. So this player would of course have to do a little bit of movement to create the space as well, but that is essentially possible, right? We can do that. Okay, now, so that is one action that we can do. Essentially, it's still for our number 11. And like I mentioned earlier, our false nine is essentially creating space, creating situations where the center backs are committing or overcommitting or committing to a position where they don't want to be in. And this is again advantageous if they don't communicate well and if they don't know where they're going. Okay, so if we look back, so you might have noticed that I'm wearing the Barcelona jersey, and there's a reason for that today. When Pep Guardiola used Messi as a false nine against Real Madrid, it was essentially a key to success during that match. And there are multiple videos on YouTube where they show this playing situation. I will link some of those videos in the comment section below, so you can check those out after you watch the video. The video clip that I will show you, you're going to see that Thierry Henry starts off deep with the ball, passes to Messi, and then now Messi receives the ball, and because Messi was essentially in a striker position, comes in deep, center backs committed. Sergio Ramos was also there, but he tucks into the inside. So Henry passes there to Messi. Thierry Henry makes that run, and where Thierry Henry and then scores the goal. Okay, so that is another situation where we can get our false nine to create space for our number 11. But of course, from this position, if your number 8 has the ball, then those plays that we talked about are for your number 11. But of course, if you're on the other side, then you can do the exact same thing, but for your number 7 on the right side. That is also possible. But let's take a look at what we can do from this position to the outside. So if we want from here to here, if we want the bomb start from here to here, then of course we need different actions. Okay, so if you're in that position, then your line should be something like this. Okay, so now let's say we have this situation, and you know your defenders are tucked in a little bit. So if you're here like this, then yeah, a long pass from here to there, yes, you can do it, but then by the time this player gets the ball, then everybody just shifts over. Yeah, which could be good. I mean, you can also take advantage of that. But there would have to be a quick play from this person, boom, from the false nine to get the ball in, after a first touch pass. Okay, but let's say we don't have that option. So now we use our false nine to try to open up and create space for this player. So now the false nine comes in deep. So now again we have the dilemma, or these two defenders here have a dilemma. So the left middle and the number 8 have a dilemma. They don't know who should pick the false nine. So if you come in deep here and then you create that space, well, now you go here, 1 steps, take advantage of that little step there by moving into a position where you can create a lane. So then from there, we can create a lane here so that we can pass the ball to our number 7. Okay, so of course, those patterns, if you practice that type of situation, your patterns have to be there or practiced so that your players can think of that. But a lot of this attacking is very tactical, and players really do have to think. They have to really read the defender, see where the positions are, see where the lanes are, see where the gaps are, and so that you can exploit those situations. Okay? But now we can also go into the other side, and if this player is committing to our number 6, and let's say the left back committed to our number 7, then we can also receive the ball on the floor. Just a little movement there, pass there. So now our run, so that you create this gap, is try to run right behind the left center back. So if you go there, then this center back, of course, that it's also has to decide whether he's going to follow the false 9 or try to recover the ball and help somewhere in between these two players. But if, let's say, they decide to cover this space, then we can hit the ball essentially here and then create a 1v1 situation with our number 11 and the left back. So we can also do that and essentially attack through that side. Through that same idea, through that same concept of using the false 9 to move this player away, simultaneously this player here can also create a little run, boom, to the outside, make this player commit, and then use that as a situation where our number 8 can make a long pass to our player here, boom, right in front of the goal, and then try to score like that. Okay, so those are some of the ideas, some of the tactical ways that we can score using the false 9. So a lot of it is creating space, creating gaps, a lot of movements, using our position or the false 9 position to create the defenders or the center backs to commit or to overcommit into a position where they don't want to be in, and essentially exploit that position. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys liked the video. If you liked the video, hit like, and if you are new to this channel, hit subscribe and turn on your notifications. If you turn on your notifications, then you will be first to know when a new video comes out. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to comment that in the comment section below. And again, so I will have some of the videos where you have the false 9, and you can check those out on your own and see how these players are using this position to create space and essentially to attack and make some goals through that. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.